I'm grateful tonight to have these huge minds who have spent their careers digging deep into their fields to share knowledge around immigration, journalism, civil rights, and technology and the arts. One thing that has struck me as I've done these interviews with the editorial is that the people that we sit with have spent years thinking about their craft. And that knowledge they are so excited to share. When I sit down and say, I'm going to sit with you for 45 minutes and hear this interview and ask you a lot of questions, they just shine. I mean, who doesn't like being paid attention to? So I want us to make that our goal tonight, that we try and get as much knowledge as we can out of these 4 guests up here. And I know there are a lot of smart people in this audience, and I hope you will share with us as well. But let's make this a community event tonight to try and put some facts on the table, to get what knowledge we need, and then go and share it.
It really is why I became a lawyer. It was my dream to be involved in like a national litigation like this. I'm sorry about the circumstances, but it really is a gift to me, and I feel I get so embarrassed when people say, oh, you know, do anything like that, because it's a gift to be in this position, to be able to do something, but everybody else is pulling every hair out of their head because of Donald Trump, and at least I could go and do something. But my associate who's in the office, Heather Janssen, and I were talking, and I happen to be the chair of the American Immigration Lawyers of New England this year. Good timing, right? And we're like, oh my God, I'm getting, my email's blowing up, my phone's blowing up, everybody's calling me going, what are you gonna do? I'm like, okay, I got this, no problem. And so we talked, a bunch of people talked, and somebody suggested that we go to the airport and put up lawyers' phone numbers, like trusted lawyers within our legal community, to take phone calls, and maybe we might just get a plaintiff. And I'd been in touch with the ACLU about this, and I have, I'm good friends with Susan Finnegan, who's from one of the big law firms, and they're really wonderful about supporting progressive legal causes like this. So we went to the airport, and we walked around, and we kind of were, Heather, I don't know if any of you read the Globe article, but Heather, my associate, came in her jeans and a sweatshirt because she, of course, had just been at a rally. And I was like, you want to go to the airport? She's like, sure. She's got like 2 kids, you know, a kid on each arm. Her husband has to come and pick up her kids. My husband has to come home and like take over our kids because I had planned to do all the afternoon activities. And she's like, well, I can't go to the airport dressed like this, right? Because we knew the media would be there. I was like, oh, you can wear my clothes. She wears size 6 shoes, and I wear size 8 shoes, so she had to like wear my size 8 shoes all afternoon into the evening. We get to the airport, and we get kind of depressed around 6 p.m. because the media's there, everybody's watching, but we have no plaintiffs. And you cannot sue unless you have someone who's aggrieved by the problem, right? No plaintiffs, no case. So we were like sad, long faces, and okay, I guess we should just go home and be with our families. And all of a sudden, Heather said that these 2 people had been sitting there for a long time, and I heard one of them say case-by-case basis, which is the language of the executive order. By the way, this place is filled with people now. There's 1,000 protesters, which I cannot tell you. When you ask about fear and reducing fear, those people did so much. Like people who went to the airport that night, just I am brought to tears sometimes thinking about it, because our clients would walk out of lockup and they had been just interrogated sometimes for 6 hours, and there's this crowd of people with welcome, we love you, and flowers, and it was really, really, really an incredible moment when people would finally come out. And at that time, we thought everybody was going to get sent back, even lawful permanent residents, because the law was it was so poorly written, we had no idea who they were excluding. It seemed like they were excluding everyone. Anyways, so we approached this couple, and then they pointed us to another couple, which happened to become our 2 plaintiffs. They agreed to sue. And then, but it's Saturday night at like, you know, it's 9 o'clock, well, it's times like 7, 8 o'clock at night. We're like,
well, I have a question. How, weren't they inside?
They were texting their relative.
Oh, so they were inside texting
so
the relative.
When you go through secondary, you can use your cell phone to actually get brought in. And so we got permission from the relative inside. Yes, if I get detained, I'll agree. And they were brought into secondary, and it didn't look like they were coming out anytime soon because it was really long. I mean, it turned out that they all ended up getting let out that night, but it was taking a very long time for people. So somebody, you know, my husband knows a federal judge who's retired, and we kind of called everybody we knew, and we finally got a phone number, a cell phone number of a federal magistrate judge. Like, it's like, I got the text, like, Judge Dean's number is like, are you kidding me? I just could not believe it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just call the federal judge on her cell phone, no problem. Here I go,
We the people.
What?
We the people.
Yeah, you know, it's like, okay, here we go. And I like dial the phone number. I was like, I think my whole body was physically shaking at this point in time. I had to go into the bathroom because it was the only quiet place. I was like, hi, Judge, just here at the airport, and I got this person detained, and I'd like you here. And she's like, all right, I'll call you back. She was at the Schubert Theater, like in the middle of a play, like, come out of the play. So she calls back, and she says, like, oh, I can't remember the exact words, honestly, but she basically said something like, we'll see you Monday morning, the effect of which, we'll see you Monday morning. Like, no, I don't think it's going to work, and I didn't say it like this, but in my mind, I'm like, no way, I want to hear it now, And so I said, I really think we need to hear. We've got all these, like, international planes coming in, and I think there's going to be more people. This is just the beginning. And she goes, like, there's this long pause, and she goes, okay, I'll see you at the courthouse at 9:30. Now, have you guys seen the federal courthouse, right? It's enormous, and it's Saturday night, and it's not, I don't think it's an easy thing to just unlock the door and go in, right? Because I thought this was all going to be on the phone. And she goes, and I said, is it going to be open? And she was like, yep. And I was like, okay. I was like, we run out, and like, I don't want to make this too long, but like, as we're leaving, Maria Sacchetti starts chasing us because she wants to know where we're going. I'm like, go away, Maria! And my associate and I would get into the car, and we would go over there. And on the way, we'd heard that New York had issued an order that had been kind of interpreted as a national order. It's still questionable whether it was. And we had a hearing, and we get there, and the clerk says, well, where's your pleadings? And we're like, we have them in paper, right? My friend had come, Carrie Doyle, and brought them in paper, and she goes, and Matt Siegel from the ACLU had been doing all the behind-the-scenes drafting with all the information. And I said, it's right here. And she said, well, everything's filed electronically in federal court. Like, oh. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. So we call my husband, who was at home with like a rum and ginger or some drink, I can never remember. And I was like, could you sue the President of the United States for me? And he goes, sure. I didn't miss a beat, right? He's like, yep, no problem, ding, 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 ding. And so, he files the lawsuit, and then gets called back like a couple hours later and gets asked to do a written thing. And we were in court in an 86-degree room with ACLU lawyers and Mintz Levin lawyers. Like, by this time, tons of people had come because they'd heard what was going on. We were there till 1:51 a.m. That was the latest I had been up in years, I'll just tell you that. And, the judge issued the order, and it was really, when you talk about hope in the judiciary, this is the most beautiful American moment I have ever been anywhere close to, because they opened the doors, the federal courthouse on a Saturday night. The judge interrupted her play, and everybody came to help. And I find that, on top of the plaintiffs being so happy that we were there to help, I felt like when the judiciary stepped in and put their foot down, that it was so American and quintessential American. It was really fun.